Hi everyone, Eran Stern here with the second part of my 3D watch animation tutorial. Last time we finished with the final PSD Photoshop result. In this part we will create the watch handles using After Effects and we'll do a nice animation with them. So as a quick reminder, we did this nice 3D watch in Photoshop and then came out with 5 layers: the back layer, wireframe, illustration, shaded and full render. Now we are ready to move into After Effects and import this watch. So inside After Effects we are going back to our project and we will double click in the project pan area in order to import our Rolex.psd. You will get this dialog, and from the pull down menu you need to choose Composition Cropped Layers. This will make our layer as fully editable and in the same size as we did it in Photoshop. Now we have this Rolex comp. Let's double click it to open it, and here we see exactly what we did in Photoshop. We have our 5 layers: the full render, shaded, illustration, wireframe, and our back layer. Now I will return to the back layer later for animation, but right now I'm going to select it and delete it. Now we will create the two handles, the two hands for our watch. Since we placed this watch in Photoshop in some sort of perspective, we need to take care of this, and we will actually use the new shape layers inside After Effects in order to build these hands from scratch. So first I will shut down the eye for all the layers, and then we will select the pen tool in order to create our hand. First I want to make sure the title Safe Action is active, and also I want to make sure the grid is active as well. I will press the tilde key to get a full screen and press Ctrl or Command plus in order to get into 100 zoom size. And now we'll start using the pen tool to put some anchor points. And I'm holding Shift so I can get a constrained lines, trying to do as accurate work as I can. It should look something like this. And now we have our minutes hand. So we can shut down the grid and come back to the arrow tool. Now you should make sure that the anchor point is right down at the bottom of the minute hand that we did. Usually it's the default, but just make sure. If it doesn't show up for you, just take the anchor point and make sure that you place it on the bottom of the minute hand. It is very critical for the animation that we will do right now. Lovely. So we will go to the timeline, open our shape layer 1, and under contents we will see shape 1. Let's rename this to minutes hand. Now make sure it's still selected and go to edit and choose duplicate. Now we have another copy of it. We will rename this hour hand. Now you can press W or choose the rotation tool and just rotate this second minute hand that we did. Let's zoom inside our composition and we will select the hour hand and free transform it to be the hour hand, which is a little bit shorter, of course. So now, wonderful, we have our two hands. And of course, since this is an analog watch, the minute hand should be above the hour hand. So just make sure that we are following the rules of the analog world. Now we're going to create a little hub. Make sure you select the ellipse tool and just freely draw a circle using Shift on the screen. Now we've got the hub on top of everything. So let's zoom in a little bit closer and just place it on top of the others. You can also scale it down if you like. This is more of a design thing. But I think this looks quite nice and it will definitely serve us very well. I will return to Fit to 100 in the compositions view. Let's look at the timeline for 1 second. Let's close our shape layer and actually hide the rest of them as well. And this is a 7-second composition. We need to relate to this when we are doing our minutes hand and hour hand animation. I will start with the minute hand. I will drill it down. We'll also drill down the transform for the minute hand, and in 0 seconds I will place a keyframe under rotation. Now I will go to 5.0, which is 5 seconds in my timeline. In 5 seconds I will change the number of the revolutions to 5 full revolutions. So now we have 5 full revolutions starting from 0 up to 5 seconds. Now we will open the hour hand and go to the rotation properties as well. Place a keyframe in 0 for 0, of course, or for whatever the value is there, 0 plus something. Then again we will go to 5 seconds and enter just 1 full revolution. If we will do a RAM preview, we will see that the result for this is that we've got ourselves moving hands doing a full 5 revolutions over 5 seconds. This is the minute hand, of course, and the hour hands going just 1 full revolution, which is exactly what we need. The animation for the watch hands is complete. So we just need to make sure that it is placed correctly on our scene. We will make our full render watch active again, and then we will convert this watch hands layer to a 3D layer. This will help us to make sure that it is located correctly in perspective. So let's zoom inside a little bit. I'll use the 3D gizmo here to move it into place. It still looks quite big for our watch. So select the layer in the timeline, hit S for scale, and just start to play with it. And you need to eyeball it a little bit to fit your needs. I think that in my case it should be around 60% and it looks quite good. Now I will switch to the orientation tool and make sure that I'm rotated on the right axis, and just make sure that it is located in the right perspective. Just play with it a little bit and feel it. And see, it's a little bit bigger still because it's not located in the right spot. And see, this is the spot which the hub should be. So I will just drag it to the correct spot. And I think we should also need to rescale it. So we will decrease it to maybe 55%. Yeah, this looks quite good for me. So now we've got ourselves our watch with the swiveling watch hands. The last thing that we need to do for this part is then again rotate it to where the minute hands will be in the 12 o'clock hour. So if you're following me, everybody, let's synchronize our watches to 2 o'clock. I will do a final run preview to check the results, and I think it's looking very promising. I have to be honest with you. The first time I saw the 3D animation system inside Photoshop Extended, I thought it was great, but I didn't know exactly what we can do with it. And I think that this is a very good idea of how we can use Photoshop, even if we are not talented in the 3D department. And if you like this part, wait and see what's coming up in the last and third part. In the next part, we will use this watch hands animation in order to reveal to each one of the layers that we prepared in Photoshop. Until then, this is Eran Stern saying goodbye.